The things we do in the invisible when no one's watching make all the difference in the world. No matter where you are in life, you know that there's something more, there's something bigger. If you continue to do the same thing, you'll continue to get the same results. There's no other way to look at it. How many opportunities have you missed because you sat on the sidelines? It sounds like I'm trashing traditional education, but I think we can all agree it's outdated. They teach you how to crush your dreams and follow a path.
Where do you think that we could improve as a generation?
If you would just find something bigger than you, would be brave and bold to think that life is going to be better, you'll watch things change.
Dean is back on the podcast. He is a master of the mic, a master of speaking in public. You really are. Let's get a little background on you. You guys can go back and listen to his first appearance on The Skinny Confidential.
5 years ago.
5 years ago. But I just want just a quick little background on you so we can get right in to all the tips for growth.
Hey, great to see you guys. I had so much fun last time I was here. You guys, you bring such great energy. And here's the cool part before I share a little bit of that. My wife and my sister-in-law, I have the pink roller in my refrigerator. My wife has the little pink, and so does my sister-in-law, has the little pink mouth strips. Like, especially since we did the podcast, my wife loves what you guys do. It's probably the only podcast she listens to.
I'm a little bummed she's not here.
I know. She's bummed that she's not here. She has major
FOMO. Beautiful
FOMO.
Sister, though, so I'll take it.
You know, a quick story. I don't think it's much different than most, right? It is, I think no matter where you are in life, you know that there's something more, there's something bigger. And I think I just recognized at a young age that just because your family has done things in life a certain way, it doesn't mean you have to live into it. And sometimes we don't move until we're disturbed enough. And I think people have asked me this more, especially in my 50s. I'm reflecting back more than ever before. And people are like, what made you be so motivated, so hungry? And if I really look back, it was my mom. My dad left when I was 3. She was an incredible woman. She's incredibly intelligent, but she didn't feel that much. She didn't feel intelligent. So she worked 3 jobs to support my sister and I. She cleaned hair, she cleaned houses, cut hair, and painted houses. She'd get home 9 to 10 at night, every night. And I was thinking, that was my spark. I remember being really young thinking, I need to retire my mom. Like, I need to help my mom. Maybe I didn't think of the word retirement. So I mean like 7, 8, 9 years old. It's like, I need to be rich. I need to be successful so I can retire my mom. And I think that was the first thing. I think we all need that move. And that was the move. I didn't go to college. At 17, I started a firewood cutting business. And then I started buying wrecked cars and fixing them and selling them. Then I started buying rundown apartment houses and flipping them by 20, 21. And then at 24, I retired my mom. At 27, I retired my dad. And since then, you know, and you guys can appreciate this as entrepreneurs. And I think as people going after your own thing, I think the best thing to say is the things we do in the invisible when no one's watching make all the difference in the world. And I doubted myself a million times. I figured I wasn't smart enough a million times. I didn't have a college degree. I didn't come from money, but I just knew that there had to be more. And I was just lucky enough to go after it. And, you know, my businesses did well. And at 27 or 28 years old, I watched Tony Robbins on an infomercial. It's funny. Now he's my dearest friend and partner. We have multiple businesses together. But at that age, I watched an infomercial. I bought everything the guy had. It was personal power and all this stuff. You guys were close to where he grew up or where he lived. And when I listened to it, a couple things happened. One was, he said, life happens for you, not to you. And at that moment, I was like, wow, maybe all the crap I went through was to make me ambitious enough to do some cool stuff. Rather than thinking, poor me, I thought, wow, lucky me. And secondly, I was like, pretty cool business. He makes money by sharing his life experiences. So at 28 years old, I went into this industry. And then years later, we met and became partners and friends, and we own multiple companies. We own a company called Mastermind together, and that's the journey. There's a lot more in between, but that's
I'm sure there is. What do you think made you sparkle to him? Because he's obviously a very special person, but so are you. But he recognized that in you. When you reflect back when you guys met, what was the pizzazz that you had that impressed him?
You know, we met. We were supposed to meet for a half hour. We met for like 2 hours. And he said, I'm not done with this. I'm like, well, me neither. He's like, fly to my house next week. So I flew to his house the following week for an hour meeting. And we ended up spending like 13 hours together. We had lunch, dinner, and a late night snack. And his mom and my dad were almost the same exact human being. He struggled at 17, almost homeless. I was in the same place. Like, we had such similarities, Lauren, that I think it just sparked. And we both had a deep desire. And listen, anybody could say that, but we both had a deep desire to serve and impact other people. Like, I'm never going to lie. I love being successful. I love having hundreds of employees. I like my company to grow. I like impacting people. But I love more than that is being able to give people an opportunity to grow and impact others. So to be cool, and you guys do this every day. You guys get to impact people for a living. It's pretty amazing. So I think that drive connected us.
You both do this thing where it's like that book, The Slight Edge, where you guys started wanting to serve all these people, but you've been able to pull the thread through all these years. And when you meet you guys, you can tell that you both still want to serve, even though you guys have made so much money and been so successful. You can tell that the foundation of it is serving others. Where do you think people get it wrong in this day and age on the internet when they're just going for the sale and they just want to make quick money?
You know, doing this long enough, you watch them come and go, right? I'm 56. At this age, and being in business since I was 17, I have to see patterns that work and patterns that don't.
Right.
And when people pretend, you could see it.
Yeah.
You could feel it. And they'll have a certain amount of success, but it's not sustainable.
Right.
Right. And there's something, especially when the economy shifts and uncertainty's high, people don't know where inflation's going, where the economy's going, where the world is going. You know, people either like the last president, the current president here in the States, and it's all this craziness. In those times, I think people attract to someone who genuinely cares. I mean, I know that might be oversimplified, but when someone genuinely cares and they show with the way their feet move, not with their words, I think they're the ones that make it through and actually scale on the other side of it.
It's funny you say that now, because we met doing this 5 years ago, but before that we started the show 6 years before that. So it's been a little bit of time. I mean, she started doing this in 2009. So now I guess we're becoming older, which is funny to see the next generation. But you're so right. You kind of see people when they come in with the wrong intention, when it's just about the money or it's just about the brand they want to build for themselves. And there's not some component of either providing some value or servicing some other person besides themselves. They kind of fall off over time. And we've seen that. And so I guess the word of advice there is that if you're going to get into any kind of space where you're trying to, like, I guess it applies to any business, like for longevity, you have to be able to provide something greater than just providing for yourself.
And if you take it one step further, whether you believe in karma, God, universe, how cool would it be is if you felt good when you gave? Meaning, so many times in life, we give, we keep score. I did so much for Lauren and she hasn't gotten back to me. She hasn't put me on her podcast. Like, what? Rather saying, I did for Lauren and I am already satisfied by the giving of it, right? And I know that sounds maybe a little too foo-foo, but think about if you approached your business where you gave more than anybody else and at first you're not expecting anything in return. You guys both know that you've done stuff for people who never gave it back. But simultaneously, you both have had taps on the shoulder and an opportunity opened and you don't know where it came from. What if it was karma, the karma auditor or the God auditor going, man, these two have put so much goodwill. Maybe that didn't work out, but this will. And I think that's just a way to look at business. If you feel amazing giving, the byproduct is the numbers look better.
Yeah, I think it's just the mindset of that when you put good things out there, good things are going to come back 100%. I think, whenever I see somebody saying like, especially, we're talking about creators here and people wanting to build businesses, when people are like, I'll only do it for a fee, or I'll only show up for this, or I'll only post. I see people implement those strategies. And again, I think a lot of those individuals are the ones that over time we've seen kind of fall off.
So true.
It's like it's like this attitude of like, I will not do anything for anyone unless they do something for me. And I don't think that's how the world works.
Yeah, especially not now, right? And everybody's so connected that if you are a little more selfish, it's exposed really quick.
For sure.
What advice would you give someone that has a narrative or a negative tape playing through their head all day? Because the thoughts, we all know this. The thoughts that you have, I'm a huge believer in this. The thoughts that you have it's being projected. So how do you change the narrative?
For me, if you look at it in a way where if you're doing something that's not getting you the results that you desire, then we have no other option than to try something else.
Right.
Right. And if you think a certain thought, maybe you're skeptical of other people, right? Hey, if I do business with them, they're going to rob from me. If you take that thought, how many opportunities has someone missed because they're not letting anybody in, right? If you think that opportunities, right, are are for other people? How many opportunities have you missed because you sat on the sidelines? So the easiest way to think about it is, what thoughts have made you miss opportunities in the past that you regret that you missed? And if you continue to do the same thing, you'll continue to get the same results. I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but sometimes we just have to think about, this thought holds me back. And then you get the opportunity to say, is that thought true? Can you find someone else that shifted a thought, had a different way to approach it, and had success? And I think there's no other way to look at it. Certain thinking holds you back. And if that's the case, then you have to try new thinking.
When you look at our generation and you see everything that's going on with social media, where do you think that we could improve as a generation?
Great question. I think nothing happens in life unless you have a compelling future. Your generation, the one beneath you as well, is the most depressed generation. They're on more antidepressants than any other generation, and more suicide than any other generation. Think about this. If I said to you guys, hey, in 10 years from now, your business is flat, you lost your money, you guys are starting over again, and no matter what you do, you're not going to make it. You rob someone's compelling future, then you have nothing to look forward to. Then your present is bound to be depressed or sad. Do you guys know you're going to be doing better next year than this year? And in 5 years from now?
I always want to get better.
Of course. But that's who you are. That's why you have this amazing podcast and this amazing entrepreneur business. You do way more than this podcast. I love all the things that you guys do. But all of us need a compelling future. And I'm not trying to get political, but when you have a lot of the world saying, climate change is there's no future. The world is going to end, right? The way the presidency, the old presidency or the new one, whatever your beliefs, that the world is going to end, that the dollar is going to be worth nothing, no matter how much you work. You could have a bushel barrel. Do you see when you could have a bushel barrel of $100 bills and you could barely get a loaf of bread? If you tell a generation that enough, there is no compelling future. So what do you have to look forward to? So if you have no compelling future, that means you're depressed in the moment, because why should I do anything? Why should I care? Why should I be polite? Why should I help other people? The world's screwed anyway. And I think we need to be bold enough to go against the grain and be optimistic and say, you know what? I believe innovation will fix things. I mean, think about oil used to be this sticky stuff on the bottom of camels' hooves. Innovation created it to something else. Can innovation save things? I want to be optimistic, boldly optimistic, say, hell yes, absolutely, no doubt. And when you do, then I get to believe the world is going to be a better place in 5 years and 10 years. And I promise you, those that are struggling, if you would just find something bigger than you, would be brave and bold to think that life is going to be better, you'll watch things change.
I tune out when I'm at a dinner party and someone's like, oh, but did you hear who was elected? Or, oh my God, did you hear the housing market's going down? I'm like, I don't want to listen to the news. I don't want it to get in my head. You really do have to be thoughtful about what you're consuming and who you're around.
Zero question about it.
Yeah.
Zero question. Like, I like to think about it. I have these silly analogies that live inside my head. If anybody could climb in there, they'd probably think I was insane. But I think about who's steering my ship. Like, I want to be the captain of my ship. If I watch the news too much, the news has their hand on the wheel.
100%.
Like, why would you work hard when the world's going to hell in a handbasket?
Same with
when
social media.
When you talk to your friend, the one friend that you love, but every time you talk to her, you leave and you're like, oh, maybe I am crazy. I
don't mean to say this arrogantly or like sound like an asshole, but the last time we saw you was right before the pandemic, like kicked into full effect.
Yeah.
And during that time, Lauren and I made the decision to get rid of cable news in our house. We literally just got rid of it. Yeah. And I remember at the time we said, hey, we're not watching the news anymore. During a time when everyone was, watching the news every second, and people would say, well, how are you going to be informed? And I said, listen, all of this is fear, fear, fear all day long. And I just don't want to live. Yeah, I don't want to live in that world. So we got out of that, and we still actually don't have cable in the house, and we never watch the news really. You can find other ways to be informed. But the point is our life over that period of time has improved. I'm not going to be shy about it. Like,
same here.
My life got better during the pandemic and beyond.
And do you think you helped the world by being fearful, or you guys creating jobs, opening more companies, doing more things? Like, if you focus on you're actually a part of the solution rather than a part of the problem.
The problem isn't the news, though. The problem is they're allowing it into their space.
My point is that you have a choice, not only through the news, but what social content you have a choice on what you consume day to day. So if all you're consuming, and I love Gary Vee for this, he points out like his news feed is like the Jets and baseball cards and like whatever. He said, your algorithm is basically what you set up for yourself. So if you go on your phone and you're scrolling around and everything's negative and everything's bad, that's
kind of who you are.
That's kind of who you are. It's what you're looking for. And during that time, we just chose to not look at that kind of stuff and focus on what we could control and what's positive. And I think it's important to mention it because you hear all these people talking all the time about how bad the world's getting, but if you really actually look at the data and you read history, the world has gotten better year after year.
It's the best it's probably ever been.
Yes. And longevity is better than it's ever been, and we're happier. Like there's more opportunity than there's ever been. Like there's a book called Factfulness. Have you ever heard that?
No,
that book?
But I'll read it.
And it basically uses facts to show the history of time, how things have actually gotten only better. And anytime people say this has gotten worse, they use fact. They're like, oh, the data actually says this has gotten better.
Yeah.
And it's just, people have a bias towards reading negative things because it's easy and there's a lot of other people commiserating and it's an easy group to find yourself a part of. But it's harder to stand out and say, okay, I'm going to focus on the positive and not the negative.
I think a good exercise is to go look at your newsfeed and your For You page and see what it's serving you and realize that you're the one that actually curated that. And that you can change it if you want to change it. It's such an easy, it's not like you're like stuck in that. You can change it.
Yeah, no one has to see it but you.
Right.
You could just give yourself a gut check.
These platforms have spent billions of dollars figuring out how to give you things that
you want.
Yes, exactly.
Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Can you break it down for us and explain the differences?
So, really great question. A fixed mindset is just easy to get into. It sounds like I'm trashing traditional education, but I think we can all agree it's outdated, right? It's like go to high school, try to get good grades so you get accepted into a college, and they teach you how to crush your dreams and follow a path. Like I know that might sound extreme, but it's like, how many times do people start school? And if they keep the innovation, the creativity, this desire through college, and then they get blessed with a job, and they feel that way. They're blessed with a job. They go in there, only because I've been doing this for so many years. Do you know how many people I get to meet at 47, 52, 38, 75 that said, I went in with so much ambition. I was going to get promotions. I was going to get raises. I was going to help take this company to another level. And you realize that the kind of the big, sometimes bureaucracy, sometimes the just the career itself, they get told no so many times, or their great idea goes past. Their innovation is not recognized. And then slowly people let go of those dreams and go, well, I guess this is the best it can be. And so many times when I get to mention that, I'll watch people get in tears because they realized there was a time when they just gave up and just rode the wave. They just, wherever things went, if I understand the question right, they went down this fixed mindset. This is as good as it gets. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. I should be lucky that I'm getting a paycheck. And I think that if you love what you do, great. But I think if you're just living in an unfulfilled career, but you should be happy that you have the job and you're getting paid, I think that's when you get to the end of your life and you look back and go, oh my God, I missed it. Like I missed, it's like when you have kids, I've talked to moms that said they got stuck and didn't realize it, and they're with their kids and they're creating the logo on the back of their kids' coloring, like taking a crayon and creating their logo of something they wanted to do, but then they still tuck it down and they go back to this kind of fixed mindset thinking they have to follow the path. Compared to the opposite of that is sometimes you've got to take massive uncomfortable action. You have to do something that's outside the norm, something where your family thinks you're crazy. I mean, you watch so many people that their family's like, are you nuts? You went to school, you got this job, but inside they're dying. And I think the opposite of a fixed mindset is first off, maybe this is a little more advice, and I hope I'm going down the right direction to answer your question. But one thing I would suggest to everybody, if you recognize you're in a fixed mindset or you're unfulfilled in what you're doing, but you're still doing it every day, then I would say three things. One, look for something that intrigues you that's growing. Look for an industry that's growing. Look for something that's growing. Is it a creator economy? Is it online? Is it podcast? Is it something you want to promote products online? Whatever it is, look for something that's growing. After that, then model proven practices. No one ever taught us to go look for somebody who's already done what you want to do and just learn everything you can. If I wanted to start a podcast business, I would hit you up, Michael, and say, can I please, or if my kids wanted to come, My kids aren't probably going to college, but they're going to mentor anybody. If they wanted to learn podcast world and what you do, I'd send them down here for 2 years to work under you.
By the way, there was people that we admired and followed, and we were just at dinner with our friend Gary Vee, and I told him to his face, like, he was one of the people that we modeled. There's an assortment of people that we model. You look at them, you say, what are they doing? What's working? What's not working? Again, you have to find your own voice and your own formula, but there are certain parameters you could stay within to say, like, okay, this is something that you can model to be
Well, at least you could
successful.
start off on second or third base rather than have the blank page, right? So find something you like, then find somebody who's already doing it. And then once you have that, then you have to take the massive uncomfortable action and you got to keep moving forward. And usually to keep moving forward, you need a big reason why. And not to oversimplify it, but they're the things that at least get the kind of the rocket off the ground, start the momentum.
Dean, if you woke up in a bad mood tomorrow, like a horrible mood, what are the tools that you reach for to snap yourself out of it?
Do you wake up in a bad mood?
Yeah.
Only because I've been just doing this for a long time. Right.
Okay, let's take the Dean when the Dean was 30.
Yeah.
What would you tell Dean to
25-year-old Dean?
25-year-old Dean, what is in Dean? What would you give?
You ready for this one?
30-year-old Dean.
I'm going to give you the simplest explanation.
Okay.
And I lived this, and then I read this book about 5 years ago, and it explained it perfectly. Og Mandino's book, The World's Greatest Salesman. It's a great book.
I have not. Wait.
2 hours, you can read it.
Okay.
It's so good.
Okay.
And it's not just about sales; it's about life. My kids have read it multiple times. He talks about the 10 scrolls.
Oh, I did read. Matthew McConaughey says to read this.
Exactly. Yeah.
I gotta read
Oh my God.
It's so
I
good.
gave it to you to read. Go
It's so
ahead.
good. You got to read. Anyway, one of the scrolls is about the same exact question you just asked. And I realized what I had done my whole life is instead of letting your emotions dictate your actions, let your actions dictate your emotions. When I wake up grumpy and want to like kick the dog, I've never kicked a dog, just saying, but like that emotion, like everything bugs you.
Yeah.
I'm human. I'm sure you guys are too. I just go to work. I go work out. I go start writing. I start working. I drive my ass to the office and I just put myself in immersive, like, cause if you sit and think about it, you fester. It gets bigger and it gets stronger. Like kill the dragon when it's just small. And when I'm grumpy, I want to kill it as fast as I can. And the only way I know how is massive action.
It's you and Tony are similar. Like he does the priming, like he
does the priming,
but
yeah.
it's like you're doing that, but in your own way. You're like moving your body and moving your system to get out of it.
Yep.
I think that's really good advice. What are other little tools that you use throughout the day? Like anything from wellness to health to diet. Like what are the things that you do that you think just help optimize you?
I love a great question is I always focus, and this took years of training, but if you could try to focus on the end result, not the action. For example, I work out every day of my life at 5 o'clock. I'm in the gym for an hour every day of my life. Most days I really don't want to.
Right.
Like everybody's like, you must love working out. I really don't love working out. But what I've trained my brain to think about is I love my beautiful wife. I want to look good for her.
Yeah.
I want her to see me and go, damn, he still looks good. So that's what I think about that. My older kids are 18 and 16. They both work out. I never told them to work out. I never asked them to work out. They just see their dad at 5 o'clock every day in our home gym. It is such a part of their life. Kids do what you do, not what you say. If I was overweight and not working out and told them to work out, would they? I'm just being honest, right? So I work out. So what I think about is, how am I going to feel when I'm done working out? How will I look for my wife? What kind of example for my kids? And I stack it even more. Every day when I work out, I listen to a podcast or personal development or something about my business. So I'm like, oh, and I'm also going to get smarter. So when I think about working out, it's like, no, I got to go work out. I'm like, no, I'm going to get a little smarter. I'll look a little better for my wife. I'll have a good example. So I focus on the end result and then you just go do it.
And you do that, I bet, with every single area.
I do, everywhere.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Being partners with Tony, you have no idea how insane it is. Like both of us are blessed that we could have retired many years ago, and we're both working harder than ever before in our partnership and our friendship because we have so many things to accomplish and so many people to serve and so much impact to make. And he'll call me and he'll say, hey brother, I got this thing. This is what we can do. Something outside, just totally. And by the time he gets done talking what will happen when we do this, when we accomplish it, the lives that'll change, the company, how many people we could hire. I'm so fired up by the end result that I'll charge into the war because I just want to get to the end.
You guys are executors. Everything when you talk about you and him, it's always like you guys met and then he was like, fly to my house. Like, let's have the meeting, 13 hours. Like, it seems like when you guys talk, it's not just like cheap talk. It's like, let's do it. Let's do it now. Let's execute it. Let's actually do it.
So true.
A lot of people miss out on the do it. They want to be the forever student. They want to read all the books. They want to consume all the content before they do the thing. You guys do.
You're so spot on. You guys have gained so much knowledge by being in business and interviewing people. I tell people all the time, don't get obsessed with just learning. Get obsessed with uncomfortable action.
Right.
And it is uncomfortable. I love putting the word uncomfortable because if you're doing something you've never done before, it's scary. It's uncomfortable. But isn't that usually where our biggest breakthroughs are and the things that we do that we're scared?
Well, there's a lot of people that feel they can't do the thing without the qualification or the certification or the degree or the permission. You know what I mean? And I think like if there's any correlation for most of the successful people we've met doing this show is that they don't wait for that permission. They're huge action takers. And even if you look at this show, like we had no training in media, no background in it was all just like, okay, you buy the equipment, then you start
jump out of the plane and grow wings on the way down.
Excuse me, I used to do CYT and acting, so I had some background in being on stage. But so speak for yourself.
But we've said on this show for years that like, listen, I understand why some professions you need certain qualifications. I get if you want to be, performing surgery on someone, you obviously need whatever. But we've heard so many people in our personal lives, unfortunately, and Lauren hates when I use the word unfortunately, that have been talking about the same idea for years and years and years. And they fully could do the thing, but they don't do the thing. They just talk about things. And then we've met other people that don't have nearly the knowledge in the beginning, but they jump in and all of a sudden now they've got this big thing because they did it. I'm
not a big talky about the thing kind of person. Like if you have to talk about the thing for too long,
I'd rather say, I'd rather show by example.
The worst is when those people, they come and they say, someone stole my idea. And I'm like, well,
because you've been waiting for 12 years.
Yeah. I'm like, you gotta do the thing. And I when you guys work with people, I imagine that's a common issue with people, right? It's like not taking the leap.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not to back up, but I grew up with my parents split when I was 3. I grew up mostly with my grandmother, and she was such an amazing influence. She was such an incredible woman. And she used to tell me from when I was really little, she goes, never tell people what you're going to do. Just do it so loud they'll hear you. And this woman never went past 7th grade, right? She was so wisdom filled. And that was something she always told me. So I never told, when I had big, crazy dreams, I'm like, if you tell people, they think you're nuts anyway. So you might as well just do it, right?
That's
also if
really
you tell people
advice.
And then you don't do it, then
you're that guy or that girl.
You mentioned earlier that your dad left when you were 3, but then later you retired him when you were 27. Yeah, right. Did I get that number right?
Yeah.
When he left, did he leave, or did your parents just split? And if he did leave, how did you forgive him and then retire him?
My dad was the youngest of 12 and was physically abused his whole life.
Youngest of 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my dad was very violent. Like very angry, didn't abuse us physically, but just was so angry because he just was taking advantage of his whole life. Like his father really abused him horrible. And because of that, my sister's 4 years older than me. She hasn't talked to him in 22 years. His ex-wives don't talk to him. His brothers and sisters didn't talk to him. And there was a point in my life when I realized that could only hurt me.
Right.
It could only hurt me. And I watched how it tore my sister apart, not talking to him. And I forgave him early on. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share something because it might help just one person listening. I thought I forgave him completely because there was some crazy stuff in our childhood. I mean, everybody abandoned him, and rightfully so. Like he kind of deserved it. Sad to say. But then there was a time about 12 years ago when I forgave him when I was really young. Mm-hmm. But about 12 years ago, I was at a Tony event. He said, come to Date with Destiny. Come day 3. It's going to be a great day 3. So I fly in. We go to dinner that night. I go to day 3, and this woman stands up. And again, I think this might be something that maybe it helps just one person. So this woman stands up and he's doing an intervention. If you ever see on I'm Not Your Guru, he's a foot away from him, standing up with thousands of people around. And she talks about her troubled childhood that she's trying to get over because her dad wanted a boy. When her mom gave birth to her, she had emergency surgery, couldn't have babies anymore. And she felt her dad hated her whole life because he really wanted a boy. And he loved to swim. So she went into swimming, went to the state championship, got 2nd place. And when she looked up, her dad wasn't in the audience and she had to walk home because he left her there. And Tony's listening and I'm not sure which way he's going to go. And he said, so tell me, because of that, was he good to your mom? No, he was terrible to my mom. So never told you he loved you? No, never told me. Financially, how was he? She said, broke my whole life. And she's talking about it. And Tony said, and then I watched him switch. And the guy's so good at what he does. He said, so you're broke? And I could tell she was dressed to the nines. Beautiful, probably 50-year-old woman. She goes, no, I started my own business. So you're not that good with your husband? She goes, that's my husband right there. I love that man. He's my best friend. He's my business partner. So you're probably horrible with your kids. She goes, no, that's my kids right next to him. We have an amazing family. Never told him you love him? I tell him I love him every day. She said, if you're going to blame your dad for what went wrong, you better blame your dad for all of that. Because if he didn't do that to you, you wouldn't have that. And you know what he did? He said, pull out your phone. Is he still alive? Call him. She called him in front of 5,000 people and said, I blame you for having a great life. And I sat there with tears coming down my eyes and I forgave my father completely. Like, my father was nuts. I moved in when I was 12. And I would come home sometime and I would meet the greatest dad in the world. I'd meet a dad at 12 years old. He'd say, take the car, let's go drive. Let's get ice cream and you can drive, right? I'll teach you how to hunt. And I'd come home some days and I had a bleeding ulcer at 12 years old. I never really tell people that, but I was throwing up blood at 12 because he was so violent with everybody. I'd come home, he'd flip the kitchen table over. He'd tell me he was going to go kill my mom, right? There was
You were too stressed.
There was these two people and I was so worried. I moved in with him because I thought if I moved in with him, he wouldn't hurt my mom. I never told her that until I was older. I should have never even told her that. But I'm saying that because what I realized is even I could walk on a stage. You know, when we did the McConaughey event, there was 2.5 million people on day one came. But I can walk on a stage with 50, 60,000 people, 40,000, 10,000 people. And I feel like I can feel their emotions and I present to match their emotions. And I know I got that because by the time I was 14, I knew how to come home and I could find my dad in crazy dad and I could flip him into happy dad. I figured out how to read his emotions, read his feelings. So that moment when he said, I blame you, I'm like, oh my God, I'm successful because of that man. My work ethic is because of that man. And I blame him for all the good in my life. And that day, everything I had in my life, like a little bit of resentment or being upset with him, it disappeared forever.
If there's one thing that Lauren and I have learned from this show over close to a decade of doing it, is that small habits make the greatest impacts over time. Small, consistent habits that you can implement into your daily life. This is why Lauren and I have been such huge fans of Cymbiotika and their entire line of supplements. What we love about Cymbiotika is they have such a wide array of products that satisfy so many of our daily needs. I think they make some of the best liposomal products on the market. What I love about liposomal supplements is you actually eat it like food, which is going to give you much greater absorption. So many supplements on the market aren't absorbable, which causes a huge problem. You're throwing money down the drain and you're not getting the benefit that you want. With Cymbiotika, you don't have to worry about that. And spring is here and we've got an amazing deal from our friends at Cymbiotika. There's no better time to hit refresh on your routines. Personally, I love their vitamin C, their glutathione, and their magnesium L-threonate, which you can add to coffee and so many beverages. Cymbiotika's vitamin C has as much vitamin C as 10 oranges. Each packet really packs a punch. Not only does vitamin C keep your immunity strong, but the biotin in the formula makes your skin plump and radiant when you take it consistently. Let me tell you guys, this product makes you glow from the inside out. Just look at me on camera. With thousands of 5-star reviews, this product speaks for itself. It's the real deal. Cymbiotika supplements never contain seed oils, preservatives, toxins, artificial additives, or natural flavors. No unclear ingredients or misleading labels. These are the cleanest, most effective products out there. So feel your absolute best going into spring with Cymbiotika. Wellness made simple. Of course, we have a special offer. Claim 20% off and free shipping at Cymbiotika.com/TSC. That's Cymbiotika.com/TSC for 20% off your order and free shipping.
I have a beauty and wellness hack that is not on the nose. Like, it's not something you would think of. And that is the water that we shower in, the water that we wash our hair in, and the water that we're bathing in. Like, it's something to take seriously. And there's this company called Jolie. They're a beauty and wellness company, and they purify the water. So all of the water that you're showering in is cleaned. Jolie's filtered shower head is the best in class for removing chlorine and heavy metals. It's the only lab tested and clinically trialed filtering shower head on the market. And here is what's cool. This is where the beauty part comes in. It's lab tested to reduce hair frizziness by 40%. It maintains your color. This is so important to me. It's so annoying to get your color done and then it gets washed out. So that's really cool. And it also protects your hair's surface layer. An important thing to note is that chlorine is added to our water systems to disinfect and kill bacteria, but chlorine is so damaging, as you guys know, to your hair and your skin, and Jolie fixes this. They have beautiful, sleek design, also form and function, and it gives you strong water pressure, which is important. Jolie will give you your best skin and hair guaranteed. Head to jolieskinco.com/skinny. You can try it for yourself with free shipping. And if you don't like it, you can return your Jolie for a full refund within 60 days, no questions asked. YSL Beauty. So iconic. They just came out with their new YSL Love Shine Plumping Lip Oil Gloss. And oh my gosh, does it give you a plump. If you're looking for plumper lips, if you're looking for rich hydration with an oil-infused formula, they have you covered. What's cool about this formula to me and why I wanted to talk about it is because it's infused with spicy ginger oil and hyaluronic acid. So this is giving you that plump. And I can tell you, I have tried it. It is a jumbo plump, okay? It's gonna leave your lips feeling smoother and softer. YSL Love Shine Lip Gloss is one that you can take everywhere. It's really pretty, I think, to use after your skincare. So what I like to do is in the mornings, I'll do my skincare. I'll apply my mineral caffeinated sunscreen, my brow peptide on my eyebrows, and then I'll do a swipe of YSL Love Shine Lip Gloss, and it's just so good. It gives your lips like a hydrated look, and the spicy ginger oil mixed with that hyaluronic, I am telling you, it is a match made in heaven. It also has like a plush wand that gives you a really cushiony application. You just get big, beautiful lips. Shop all 9 dreamy shades of YSL Love Shine Plumping Lip Oil Gloss now at Sephora. I just was getting interviewed by someone and they asked me a question about, like, they said trauma, and I was like, I don't like that. For me, I don't like that word.
Me neither.
It's not the word that I'm grateful. It's given me grit and resilience and resourcefulness and creativity. And if you look at it like that, it is a lot easier to forgive.
Well, it's a muscle that I think you work over time, because it's funny. I think when you meet people that have quote unquote overcome trauma and you try to ask them about trauma, it's hard to get an answer out of, because they look at everything as the positive that came from whatever issue happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where if you meet someone who's still struggling with that and looks at everything as a trauma that's holding them back, they can point to a million traumas that keep happening, right?
Yeah.
But the point is, like, if you start to flip and start to say everything is happening for me and not to me, and then that's not the easiest thing to do, you then start to look at pretty much everything that happens to you in life, even like setbacks currently, as opportunities.
So true.
But you have to look at the good that's happened to you, like Tony said to that woman, that she maybe wouldn't have had that.
But can I tell you the thing that is unbelievable is, I know this might sound crazy, I watched her look 10 years younger.
Yeah.
When she was
it's like,
oh my God, I feel like she exhaled air that she sucked in when she was 17.
Right. Yeah.
And she just looked lighter. She felt lighter. She called them and said, Dad, oh my gosh. So if that just one person today that you could blame them for that and let go of that, just think how much your life can move in a better direction without carrying that. It's heavy.
Yeah.
You asked earlier what would happen if in the future we lost everything and everything fell apart. And, I don't want that to happen. I'm hopefully going to try to do things to guard against that. But kind of the sick part of me is like, oh, I wonder if that happened now with everything I've learned, like how long it would take to get it back.
Fast. It'd be fast.
And I in a weird way, I kind of want to be like, oh, I wonder what, like,
I get it.
Don't put that into the ether.
Don't put it in the air. We'll pull that one back in.
Call me on my second husband. Speak for yourself.
But you know what I mean? Because I think that when you were asking the question, my brain immediately goes to that now, as opposed to the fear-based thing, which is, if that happened, I'll never live. I won't survive.
But isn't that the benefit of actually taking that uncomfortable action? Because you see it wasn't as scary as you thought, even though all the times in the mirror when no one's watching, like, can we do this? What if it doesn't make? Is COVID going to end us, or is it going to grow us? You have all those feelings, but now that you've gone through it, you played the game and you realize you could do it again.
What does your life look like in the business world? Like on a day-to-day basis, I know that you obviously are very front-facing, but there's a lot of back-end stuff that goes into what you do. I'm curious, as a business person myself, like, are you running the team on Mondays and doing Skypes on Wednesdays? How does your time for business?
Really awesome. So our new company, it's like 7 years old, that we started, called Mastermind. We teach people how to be creators, right? How do you take life experience and turn it into a product, a course, a workshop, a coaching program, a podcast, a book. And when people realize that all of us have a value, we have an experience, we have a career skill, we have something, we have a passion that's valuable. Once you realize that, it's a pretty cool way to create a business. And that's what we started, because that's the business Tony and I are in. So we started that. And because it's a startup, 7 years old, I'm still, of that company, I'm still the architect of all of our events, our big marketing campaigns, right? Like we said, we've done, actually the last one was 12 events in a row that averaged about 1 million people each registered. I architect those. They've been things I've been working on for 2 decades.
Are you on Zooms in office around 100 employees? What does it look like?
I have some great operators. I have leaders in Mastermind. We have about 135 employees. So we have great leaders in each department, but I'm still, I don't like to say we don't do a lot of titles, but I'm still the CEO of the company.
So
I'm still the
captain.
visionary.
Okay.
I'm still the visionary. I still set the tone, and amazing operators and executors to get it done. But Mondays, my day is full completely with Zoom calls. I pack Mondays and Tuesdays, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, more creative, more high level meetings.
So as far as writing and speaking and podcasting and all these other things that you're doing, how do you fit them in? Do you batch it?
I try. It's not always a balance. I mean, I'm doing more podcasts now because we're doing our once a year big event.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a juggle between, you guys probably experience this. I have the creative side of me that lays out the next big event and how we impact people more and how do we create the blueprint so everybody can get in. And then simultaneously, I'm on with my CFO talking about numbers and finance and where we're going and how we're doing. So it's 2 different brains. So the one thing that I've done, and you probably have figured this out already, is I set my creative days aside from my day-to-day business days, because they don't overlap too well.
No, and then you get frustrated. I notice
Beyond frustrated.
If I have a block and then someone comes into my space, then I have to be reactive. It's good to separate
It's
them.
not always perfect, but I've noticed that when we blend those days together, you kind of get a worse result for both.
Yeah.
Hands down for both.
Yeah. And sometimes you can't avoid it, like for scheduling, but yeah, I've noticed that if I try to be operator, finance, and then do a show, it's just like, it's hard to shift back into that.
I want to ask a selfish question, and you're the perfect person to ask this. How do you think about running a team? Like, how do you think about where to place people and the hierarchy and where to put people? I just want to know how you think about it, because it's a lot of work to have a lot of different personalities. Some people want to work from home 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Well, how do you manage all that?
So if I look back, what I used to think would make a great leader was someone who's a really good project manager. The person that when you give them something, they get it done. They say if you want something done, ask the busiest person you know.
Yeah. And
you got those people on your team. I saw a statistic that, the 80-20 rule, that 20% of your employees are doing 80% of the work in your company. Right? And you already know the people. You think about the people are the people killing it in the company. Yeah. And there's some that just find a way, right?
Sure.
But what I've realized is project managers, people who get things done, the hustlers in your company, don't necessarily equate to being leaders. And what I've seen, especially in the last probably decade of my life, you can't scale without true leadership, right? You can, because sometimes in a business, you could be really good at one thing. I was really good at creating products people loved and really good at marketing. That's what I've been really good at for 30 years, right? I wasn't the best at operations and CFO and planning, but I did so well in that unique ability that the money covered my mistakes where there was Band-Aids and duct tape. But that gets you to 10 million. I'm not saying that's, but 20 million. If you want to go to 50, 100, $200 million, those Band-Aids don't work. You need to have real leadership and real people that fill those roles. And the only way to get there is to understand leadership is people who understand the human condition. It's like being a kindergarten teacher. So one person gets upset if they don't have enough significance. One person wants to be left alone. One person wants to work at home. One person likes to talk about their past. One person doesn't like to talk at all. And true leadership finds a way to resonate and communicate with all these different personalities combined with project management.
How do you find that person? Could you give me their number?
Yeah, I can help you with that.
Oh my God.
It took me a long time to find. And when you do, your life changes overnight. Like not in 5 years. It changes overnight. You bring somebody in and you're like, why is that department? I don't hear anything from that department anymore, because you found someone who's taken the one person to lunch that needs the pat on the back. and they're talking to the other person about their weekend boating. Like, you do boats? Oh, and they just figure out a way to build connection, rapport, respect, and then that it allows them to take your values and insert it with the team. And that's what I've seen is that next level.
That's exactly, though, I will say, what my COO has done for the company. It's exactly that. It's almost like respecting everyone where they're at, but also acknowledging like what you like.
You still got to get stuff done. You still, right?
It's a finesse.
It's finesse. That's a good word.
It's definitely a finesse.
You mentioned earlier, well, we know this too. Both you and Tony have done very well. Could have retired years ago. You guys continue to push it to the next level. For entrepreneurs out there and even individual contributors that are working in businesses, how do you work with people to help them get to the next level? Maybe they're doing well, they've got a good job, or their business is doing, they're financially in a good place, but they want to keep kicking it up a notch. How do you convince people to keep going, and how do you help them get there?
Convincing people to keep going, I'd rather say there's two types of entrepreneurs. Actually, three. There's somebody who likes to be creative, do well, and work underneath another company so they have the protection. Thank God, because we wouldn't have any employees if there wasn't awesome people like that, right? So they're kind of like intrapreneurs. They take their department seriously. It's like your COO. This is her division. This is her world. So thank God for that. Then I look at the next level are those that are lifestyle entrepreneurs. They want to build something that gives them enough money to allow them to live the life they hope to live.
Yeah, maybe convince is not the right word.
Yeah.
But
then the last is the kind of the ambitious one that it's accomplishment-based entrepreneurs. And I think those that know they're meant for more and don't have kind of a path and plan, I think words like you are enough, you know enough, and with the right plan, you could achieve more, allow people to go, I wonder if I could. I feel it. I know it. It was a great question. I don't have an immediate answer other than I really like waking people up who fell asleep years ago. Like they had ambition, they had dream, and like, screw it, I'm just going to go to sleep and let my life just go on. And I like to shake those people and go, hey, if you're happy, cool. But if you're not, hey, we got one shot at this. You're going to get to the end of your life and have massive regret. And then simultaneously, we like to meet people where they are. Some people, we want to show them that you can market and sell through service, not cheesy sales tactics. And you need another level of marketing stamina, marketing, application and strategy. Other people, it's just having a different mindset that they're capped, that think I could only make $100,000 a year or $50,000 a year. And we like to take the lid off that and show them what's possible. I guess the thing is meeting people where they are and getting disturbed in the areas of their life they're not happy with.
What you're throwing an event, and I want you to speak on that, but what kind of person should go to this event, and what kind of person wakes up at this event, as you put it?
That's a really, really good question. I said this about a week ago. It's the first time I ever said it. And somebody asked me, a friend asked me, and I said, Tony and I like to attract, you could say brilliance without a blueprint, or I just like saying badasses without a blueprint. And it made me think about, I wish my mom had a blueprint, because she would have been an amazing entrepreneur or someone doing their own thing. So I would say someone who knows that they're meant for more, that maybe is unfulfilled in their current career, or their current business is just, they're putting more time in their business than they would in a career, and it's making them less than what they thought.
Like they're working in their business.
They're working in their business, right? They're just grinding, and it's paying them less than maybe the business that they left. And over 3 days, we show people, we show them why they should be in the creator economy. It's $1 billion a day industry. More and more people are paying for other people's knowledge, right? If you've done something that I haven't done, right? The fastest way for me to get there is to get your experience. So we show everybody on if I just go through the days, day one, we show you why this industry, why now, and why people, if you're thinking you're meant for more, that you can do it. So Tony puts them in the right mindset. I show them how to identify what they should create on day one. On day two, we show them how to make it real through marketing, through service. How do you get the eyeballs? How do you use your warm network? How do you use social media? That you got eyeballs already there, how to get in front of them, and how to make kind of your first sale. Day three is how to turn it into a business. And we do it once a year for free. And like I said, we're about 70% women.
It's free.
It's free. And it's Tony, myself, we got Jay Shetty coming, Matthew McConaughey coming, two other amazing guests, Lisa Nichols, and a crazy. But
so is it online too?
It's all online, completely
all
online.
Okay.
And we do it from our virtual studio, and it's unbelievable. Like I said, our last 11, 12 events had 1 million people on average registered from over 125 countries. And you know what else I love about it is we are living in a polarized world, right? We got extremes on both sides. For 3 days, for 3 hours a day, there's hundreds of thousands of people with different backgrounds, different religions, different economics, different politics. And it shows that the world could come together. If you look through the lens of what we have in common, that we have a desire to do better than our parents, to leave our kids in a better place, to leave the world a better place. You got 3 days, and people always ask, like, I get done with your and Tony's events, I'm vibrating, I love it. What is it? It's like, because she showed you that the world is not as crazy as people think. And I truly believe with where AI is, and we got some cool things we're going to share, where AI is, where the world is, I don't think there's ever been a better time to start or do your own thing. Because the other thing that happens in a time like this is a lot of people sit on their hands to see where things are going. Mm-hmm. I believe that if you Google Fortune 500 companies, you know, the majority of them are started in a recession or a down market. And I think it's because most people go, oh, let's see where things are going. And the brave ones go, no, no, no. And then you don't have as much competition.
Yep.
So I think this is just such a magical time. You got AI that can fuel you, and we're really stoked about this event.
Speaking of AI, you can now work with AI and ask it questions if you're confused about who you are and what you want to do, and it'll work with you to like kind of give you prompts
wait
to
till you see
figure out.
what Tony and I are sharing.
I'm sure.
And people are going to use it, but we just downloaded about 40 years of Tony and I into an AI, and it answers like we do as a combined unit. It's pretty insane.
It's wild what you can. Yeah, I mean, I was messing with it yesterday, and I was just like, I did a weird prompt. I was like, okay, I have this business, and it's doing this, and not to give too much information, but I was like, and if I wanted to do this, this, and this, like, what would you suggest? And it like gives you all sorts of things, and it just makes you think. It's crazy. It just didn't exist before. You'd have to like kind of just come up with it out of nowhere. So it's good.
I have some hot takes with Dean.
Okay.
Spicy, true or false, rapid fire. Debt. Is it good? True or false?
It's good. True.
Why?
Because it's leverageable. You know, I know there's a lot of great people out there that say zero debt. I'd say smart debt is good. If I look at when I first started, I started in the real estate industry, and I got in my first house with no money down, struggling to get it done. I finally got it done, and I borrowed money on that first house. It still cash flowed because it had 3 apartments in it. I took the money I borrowed and I bought another house. And then I finished that one and I borrowed money on that and I bought the third house. So I put good debt. Buying a Lamborghini or a car or a watch that you can't afford, that is horrible debt. It is stupid. Having your credit cards maxed and you're paying 25% so you can look good for 5 minutes. I would say, look like you're poor. Live hard for 5 years so you could live great for 40.
That's smart. You just lily padded it. Really smart. School sets you up for success. True or false?
False.
Why?
School sets you up to follow the rules.
So what are you going to do with your 5 and 2 year old?
So I have 18 and 16. So I told the 18 and 60-year-olds since they were little, if they want to go to school for the experience, and my son might want to be a doctor, so he's got to, right? But if they want to go to school for the experience, they can, but they know that I feel it's a complete waste of time.
I feel the same way.
I'm sorry that I just say it because there's some people going to want to shoot harpoons at me.
It feels so refreshing to hear someone say that.
To go to school, listen, do you know this? 76% of all people who get a degree don't use it. 76. 50% of the people who do get a job in their degree hate the job they're in. So what do you got? 13% of people that actually use their degree and love it. And you're taught such general knowledge that you get out of school and it takes you 5 years to figure it out. What I told my kids was this: if you want to go to school, totally cool. Go experience it.
Did they?
They're too young.
No, they're too young.
I'm talking
My
about
daughter's
I'm talking about
in 12th
16
grade.
and 18
My daughter's in 12th
they're still
grade.
too young for college.
No, but
I don't think she's gone.
Oh, I'm talking about school
Like
too.
college?
No, like school.
Like high school? Yeah, my little kids are homeschooled.
Okay.
So they're never going to go to school.
I was waiting for him to say that.
Oh, yeah,
That's what
I thought you meant college.
Okay.
So my older ones, what I always told them, you can go to school, or the other side is find something you love. So for my daughter, she likes interior design.
Okay.
So in her job right now, as I said, find 3 people that you think are the best in the world of interior design. You DM them, get a hold of them, and tell them you're going to be the best employee they've ever had for 2 years, and you're free. I'll support you while you go work under them. You learn from them, you get back, I'll help you start your interior design business.
If someone had told me that at 16 years old, I can tell you right now, I would be twice as successful.
Hands
because
down.
I mean, we didn't have DM back then.
Of course.
But if someone had said, Lauren, go find
somebody in your town.
Branding expert.
You know what's really like messed up too? I was just sitting with my friend who I went to college with. We've known for forever. And I was sitting with him and we were talking about what we learned in college, and we both could not
couldn't name anything.
We couldn't really name what we learned. And
Anatomy?
it's funny, like I got my degree from the University of Arizona in regional development, and I don't even know where my diploma is, and I've never used it for one thing. I've never put it on, I never used it once. But I did have a good time for 4 years. And fortunately, I had some parents who supported me and footed the bill, which was, I'm always grateful for. But I always think, like, what would have happened if I would have just started my career 4 years earlier and saved my parents that money and said, hey, let me use it.
I think that's so cool that you're giving your child that advice.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I've pounded it into their head. So they have a choice. I think my daughter's going to follow that route. I think my son will go to college because he wants to experience it, but they have the choice.
And then the 2 and the 5-year-old are homeschooling.
They're going to be homeschooled.
For the rest of the land?
Yeah. Because I'm in a different phase with them too. And my wife, Lisa, and I have the most amazing relationship. I want them to learn. They're not here today, one of the rare times, but they come with me everywhere. So my son and daughter are going to grow up around it while they're homeschooled. So I want them hands-on training from a young age.
It's funny too, I know you want to jump in, but a lot of the schools, and I'm just going to say this honestly, that would have never, ever looked at my application, would just thrown it right in the trash. We go and speak at those places now to the students.
Isn't it pretty wild?
And when I hear people say, well, how are you going to get a job? Run it now as I hire people. I don't know where one person in this company went to college, nor do I care.
Same here. I don't hire based on college. I've never looked at it.
You went to so-and-so. Like I'm like, can you do this job?
So think of it as general knowledge compared to specialized knowledge, right? Would you want somebody to say, I went to school for 6 years for marketing, or somebody said, I've been booking Facebook ads for 5 years straight. Who do you hire, right? You hire the specialized knowledge. And that's kind of what our event is about, is everybody owns some kind of specialized knowledge, and somebody else is willing to pay for it if you understand how to get it to them.
Let's talk about the body oil that I use for my stomach. I take this very seriously, okay? I have never had a stretch mark in my life. I have other things, but I don't have stretch marks, and that's because I use a good body oil. The one that I have used through all 3 pregnancies, the one that I'm always talking about, is Osea's best-selling algae body oil. So what I like about this is it's silky, it's soft, it's glowy, it's not overly scented. It's just a really nice smell. So it smells like mango, mandarin, grapefruit, lime. Just perfect. Exactly what you would want something to smell like that's on your stomach. How I use this is I'll dry brush with the Skinny Confidential dry brush. I'll hop in a cold shower, and then I get out and I cover my body in Osea's algae body oil. But I really focus right now, obviously, on my stomach. And it's really clean. We got to interview the founders, and it was amazing how they make this product. It's vegan, cruelty-free, born in California, mother and daughter founded. And you should know that the body oil that I like is their #1 best-selling product. One is sold every 30 seconds. So that tells you how great it is. Get healthy, glowing skin for summer with clean, vegan face and body care from Osea. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code SKINNY at OseaMalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. Head to OSEAMalibu.com and use code SKINNY for 10% off. This episode is brought to you by Saks Fifth Avenue. I love a claw clip. I feel like it's something you can just throw up in your hair, and I get all my claw clips because I collect them from Saks Fifth Avenue. They have everything from Prada to Saint Laurent. They have Valentino. They have the prettiest hair clips ever. Like, I'm telling you, go there, go look at that section. It's one of my favorites. And a claw clip to me is just an accessory that you can throw on when you're working out or when I'm picking my kids up at school. It doesn't pull on my hair. It feels like a luxury accessory, if you will. So if I want to just make my outfit feel a little more special, I'll grab that. While you're on Saks, you can also check out all your favorite brands or designers. So they really have it all in one space. It's kind of like a curated closet. What I like to do is I like to go to their designer section, and then I'll click on the designer that I'm looking for. So they have everything from Prada to Saint Laurent to Zimmermann to Burberry to Fendi, Gucci. Really beautiful pieces that you want to invest in, pieces that you keep going back to, and don't sleep on the claw clips, okay? I'm telling you. You can shop at Saks.com. That's Saks.com.
C15 is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in 90 years, and get this, studies have confirmed that it's 3 times better, broader, and safer than omega-3s. Dr. Stephanie Van Watson, who has been on this show twice now, discovered C15 as the first essential fatty acid to be found in over 90 years while working with the U.S. Navy to continually improve the health and welfare of aging dolphins. I know that sounds wild. All you have to do is listen to the first episode we did with Dr. Van Watson to learn all about what she was doing with these dolphins. But long story short, it's pretty simple. Essential nutrients keep our cells healthy, which keeps us healthy. If you want to get sciencey about it, studies show that C15 works by strengthening our cells, improving our mitochondrial function, and protecting us against damaging free radicals. The result, better long-term metabolic liver and heart health. And like I said earlier, fatty 15 has 3 times more cellular benefits than omega-3 or fish oil, and C15 is the only ingredient in fatty 15. It is 100% pure. The way C15 works is in multiple ways. It repairs age-related damage to cells, protects them from future breakdown, boosts mitochondrial energy output, and activates pathways in the body to help regulate our sleep, mood, and natural repair mechanisms that support our overall health. In short, you're able to age more gracefully. Who doesn't want to do that? It comes in a gorgeous reusable glass and bamboo jar, and refill capsules are shipped to your door quarterly in pouches made from recycled materials. So check them out. Fatty 15 is on a mission to replenish your C15 levels and restore your long-term health. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/skinny and using code skinny at checkout.
Do you know what I am wearing on my skin right now? I am wearing the caffeinated sunscreen by The Skinny Confidential. I created this sunscreen so it tightens the face with the caffeine and gives you a little tint, a natural tint. And I'm so excited because we are doing an anniversary sale. The sale is April 22nd to the 25th, and the sunscreen is obviously on sale. So the discount that we're doing is 30% off, which we barely ever do. And what's exciting about this is not only can you grab the sunscreen that I'm wearing that is absolutely amazing under makeup, it doesn't pile or anything. It just lays so nice and gives you like a tight glow. I apply mine with a beauty blender, but you can also get our tools. You can get the dry brush. You can get the body sculptor. That's my secret weapon for pregnancy cellulite. So here's the exciting thing. When you order a tool, you get a free, this is like, we've never done this, a free full-size depuffing oil. And this is the oil that I use for my fascia facial massage that you see me do on Instagram. So if I were to like tell you what to get, I would say definitely get the sunscreen because like I said, it's going to give you a really pretty glow under makeup. I wear it all the time though without makeup. And then if you're going to grab a tool, I would get the mint roller or the ice roller if you haven't tried it. And by far the body tool to grab is the dry brush that I have been using my entire pregnancy. You will notice a difference right away. It's one of those tools that you use and you immediately feel refreshed. So how I use the dry brush, if you want to know for the anniversary sale, 30% off, you got to grab it, is what I do is I do the dry brush on my entire body. I'll do it for 3 minutes and then I get in a freezing cold shower. And when I get out of the shower, I'll put body oil all over me, like a good Osea or a Pellicure body oil, even Agent Nature. And then I'll use the body sculptor to get in there to break up cellulite and just get my lymphatic system really activated. This is like my ride or die way that I shower in the morning because I have kids and I got to be quick and I want to feel refreshed and rejuvenated. So go shop the anniversary sale, get everything you can, get birthday presents. This is the time, 30% off automatic. You don't need a code. It's site-wide. And like I said, when you buy any tool, you get a free full-sized depuffing oil. Go to shopskinnyconfidential.com for 30% off, April 22nd through the 25th.
There was a young woman that started working with Lauren and I while she was, I think, in high school, but then college. And she was doing graphics and social media design. And she did it all through it. And when she was, before she graduated, she's like, okay, I need to graduate so I can go to New York and I can go and apply for these jobs and da-da-da. And I go, what are you talking about? I was like, I'll hire you right now for this company. And I was like, you don't have to go to any of those places. Yeah, you can
skip the whole thing.
And hi Lydia, she fought me on it for a minute. And then eventually she started and she was the first hire for Dear Media to run all our social. Now she has her own business with all these great clients.
Darlington.
But it's so fun, Darlington. But it's funny because I remember talking to her and I saw the rationale. She's like, I got to go to school.
Yeah, but that's the way you've been programmed.
Mm-hmm.
You need money to make money. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Why?
Because think about this. If you could leave your children resources or be massively resourceful, which one? If you had to pick one or the other.
Of course, be resourceful.
Right? Why do most people hit the lotto, go broke? They have money, but not resourcefulness. If you look at most entrepreneurs, most innovators, most creators, they found resourcefulness was way more valuable than resources, than money.
What do I say to you all the time? Dean agrees with me. What do I say? I say all I care about is my number one for my children is resourcefulness.
Isn't it? I mean,
it's number one.
Because they'll always be fine. What if something happens to me? What if something went sideways? What if money's not worth anything anymore? You want resourcefulness. So I think the biggest lie we've been told is you need money to make money. And what it does is if you anchor that into people enough, then they think, well, I wasn't born on the right side of the tracks. Nobody in my family has money, so I will accept this life I don't like. So I like to be dramatic and tell people bullshit. Like that's not true. You know what? Best thing, you have AI. Go into AI, go into ChatGPT or even go to Google and type in, give me 20 entrepreneurs or business owners that started with no money. You will be shocked. It's the majority of them.
Yep.
It's the majority, especially when they're solopreneurs who started and built something great.
Sadly, too, and it's even more sad because people don't feel sorry for this group of people, but individuals who inherit a bunch of money from successful parents and then more often than not go broke or end up really struggling with whatever drugs or this and that. Like there's so many of those stories.
So many stories.
And
resources, not resourcefulness.
Yeah. And I personally feel bad for a lot of people because they're almost set up for failure from the start. It's like you're given all of these things that someone had to work really hard for with no context of what it took. And then you have no idea how to really conserve it or keep making it. And then the world's at your fingertips and there's a lot of yes people. And then you struggle.
Can I tell you two quick things? Because
Sure.
your parents they used to call it the G3 curse. Generation 1 makes it. Generation 2 maintains it. Generation 3 blows it. Because Generation 3 never saw grandma and grandpa working their asses off to create it. They have no association with it. But if you I geeked out on this because I never flew on a plane until I was 28 years old. My kids have never flown commercial. I've had a private plane since they were born. So
how do you contextualize that to your children?
I mean.
It's hard.
It's so difficult, right? So what I've been been whispering in my kids' ears since they were little is we are a baton family. And that's how they used to do it in Europe. In Europe, you would see 16 generations.
Feeling that
and
way.
I said, I am running the first leg of this relay. And when I'm done, I will hand you the baton if you want to run as hard as your father. If you don't, get a job and I will double your salary. You want to be a teacher at $100,000 or $80,000 or whatever it is a year, I'll double it. But I'm not handing you this unless you're ready to run the race. So since they've been little, they know they're not getting it. They're not trust fund kids. If they want to grab the baton, I want them to be smarter, richer, happier, healthier. I want them to be so much better than me. But they're not going to get it for nothing because it just ruins lives. So that's
if you look at Aristotle Onassis,
yep,
you can also see exactly what you just said with the generations. Like go search him. I think one of his daughter, I want to say had a drug overdose and committed suicide, was left with $100 million. And then it was generational. Exactly
Google
what
the
you
Disney family. It's the saddest story in the world.
I've never even thought about.
So sad.
Did he have kids? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and completely destroyed. Like every generation, they're still fighting over the money. It's the saddest story in the world. So it's another thing, and it seems like wealthy people problems. But I lived in a trailer park as a kid, so I have to learn how to hand off and create kids that appreciate life, that they're fulfilled, they have hustle, they have grit, and also didn't struggle.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
My favorite thing to say right now to my kids is they'll be like, Mom, can you hand me this? And I'll be like, I made you 2 legs and 2 arms in my stomach for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's my whole theory. Get up and go get it.
I love it.
We're playing the world's tiniest violin for individuals who are given these kind of things. But to no fault
I love
of
that, the world's tiniest violin.
To no fault of these people's own is that, if you have very successful parents or grandparents and then you're given you didn't choose, your parents kind of set you up for that.
Yeah.
And I think for parents that are doing well, they need to think about this because you just see so many stories. But again, you're the last group to be felt sorry for because everyone's like, yeah, too bad. You got given a bunch of money and you blew it. It's your fault.
Yeah.
There is not one person listening, including Michael and I, that should not go sign up for this event. It's free.
Yes.
This is an amazing opportunity, you guys, to register for the Thrive in 2025 event. Visit thrive350.com. It's a 3-day event hosted by Dean and Tony, the Godfathers. You guys are the godfathers of what? Entrepreneurship,
A lot of
mastermind,
things.
mindset, Jesus, resourcefulness, all of it. Dean, you can come back anytime you want.
Don't wait 5 years, though.
Don't wait 5
I won't
years.
5 years. I'll come back with Tony next time. We'll have fun.
Yeah,
fun.
come
We'll
back.
we'll have fun.
We'll create like different chairs for
Yeah,
everyone.
put me in something a little higher. That would be.
Same with Michael.
Sit on the
Yeah, we'll
floor.
sit.
Michael and him looked like twins, Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger next to each other.
He's a big man.
He is a big man. Dean, where can everyone find you? They have questions. Pimp yourself out.
Yeah, at Dean Graziosi on socials. Great.
Thank you so much.
The event is the most important thing. We do it once a year, and it's going to be a blast.
It's free.
Totally free.
There's not a reason not to do it. My thing is, even if and I've done this with Tony's events before, put it on in the background and I'm making my bed or getting my nails done, or like it's still just getting in your subconscious.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Dean. You're the best.
You guys
man.
are awesome.